Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers. What am I doing? Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Amphibia Episode 13. Little funny fact here. When I was starting this up to record, I accidentally started doing the welcome back, like as if we were coming back to the afterthoughts of a redirect. I don't know why. But anyways, so yeah. This is our second episode back since we, came back to the series after our little break there. And yeah, last episode was actually surprisingly good. It was much more enjoyable than I figured it was going to be. I was expecting just more of the same schlock we would normally get, but it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable enough, and we even got some conclusiveness to the entire storyline with Hop Pop and his stand, his produce stand. So we got that figured out. But the question is, where do we go from here? Because there's like 20 episodes this season. And by the end of this, we're definitely going to have to get back into, main story stuff. So, how are we going to get there? Obviously, we don't have to do that right away in this episode or anything, but I'm just wondering when that stuff is going to be brought back. Mostly because I want to see Sasha more. If I'm being honest, again, she's my favorite character in this, and honestly the most interesting one so far. I definitely just like her more than Anne, and kind of wished that the series was about her. If I'm being honest. But it's like, I don't think someone would do that. Like, Anne is very much a typical protagonist character, while Sasha isn't. Like, Sasha is not a character you would see as a protagonist. She's too... conniving seems like the wrong word. But I guess there's that. She's not as much of a typical nice girl character. She's more of a strategist, she's more of a... I don't know what the word is. It's like, there's a word I'm trying to think of, but I can't think of it. I guess just for the sake of it, let's just say conniving for now. She's much more conniving, and you just don't see main protagonists like that. You'll see other characters, side characters, and even major supporting ones, but not main protagonists. Usually the main protagonist is either nice and or quirky and fun and that kind of stuff. It'd be like seeing Amity as the main character of Owl House instead of Luz. It just, you wouldn't see that. I don't know if it's because in a lot of cases it wouldn't sell as well, but those kind of characters you usually don't see as the main characters. I think the biggest example of that kind of thing actually happening, where you see one of those types of characters as the main character, I'd say the closest that I can think of off the top of my head would probably be Glitch Tex. Because Miko definitely has that kind of attitude and personality to her. But even she is not fully in that kind of realm. And this is counting shows that are like this. You know what I mean? I'm not like counting like more adult targeted or even older teen targeted series like Young Justice or anything. It's not like shows like that. I'm talking about these typical shows that are much more common and popular nowadays. Um, like even Star Versus, it's like Star wasn't even quite like that. Um, I'm trying to think of like another show that where it would be, but no, I can't think of another one. Glitch Text is the closest one, and even that's not perfectly there. But yeah, it's like I just do personally kind of wish Sasha were the main character, just because I like her so much more. She's much more investing and interesting to me. Um, Honestly, again, as I've said in the past, while Brenda Song does a great job with the voice acting, I don't like Anne that much. She's boring. She's just not an interesting character. And that might change. And it's not like I hate her or anything. It's just, as of now, it's just I don't really have a lot of reason to get excited about her character. There's really not much to her that's unique and interesting, and honestly, it bores me most of the time. That's why I've latched on to other characters like Polly more. Hell, even Hop Pop is more interesting. But yeah, you bring in a character like Sasha, and it's like just instantly overshadows everyone else. So yeah, I'm excited to see more of her when she comes in, and the other girl as well, who I know will be coming at some point. I don't know if she'll be in this season or wait till next season. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I'm also just waiting for more of an ongoing, continuous story arc to start up. Um, I just feel like we could use that, you know? Like, this episodic nature can sometimes yield some pretty good episodes, but I feel like we need some kind of ongoing plot thread to kind of start to tie things together at this point. But we'll see how it goes. We've gotten bits and pieces of this plot thread already. We've definitely started to connect it, but we need a little more, you know? And I don't expect it to happen with this episode. I'll just say that right off the bat. But it is something I want to see. With this episode, I don't know what to expect because I know nothing about what's going to continue on happening. With a series that's mostly episodic, it's kind of impossible to. So let's just get into this, see what we've got in store for this episode, and go from there. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, if I'm being honest, this episode was kind of boring, both parts of it. Nothing about it really was that interesting or exciting or fun or anything. Nothing about it really just did anything for me. The first half with the entire just trying to find the shell and finding who stole the shell and whatnot was just... I feel like they just didn't do anything interesting with it. There could have been a good mystery there, and it just was very blah. And it was more a thing about, like, jumping to conclusions and everything, and then there's this new character who's introduced just for, like, a gag about hulking out and everything, and it's just... why? It just felt like it was kind of boring and uninteresting. And on top of it, it was continuing with the entire thing with Sprig and the girl whose name I can't think of at the moment. Which, as I stated, I'm not super into. Just because it's like, I liked it better in her debut episode when they were saying that it's like, oh, they can just be friends. They don't actually have to be like in love with each other. But as I mentioned back then as well, I hate that they went back on that by the end of the episode and had him actually fall in love with her. I think that's just really not okay. So I'm still not really on board with their ship. So it's like, I'm not really into this. And then the second episode with the entire getting stuck in the library thing because of Sprig and everything, it's like, It's like you knew they were going to get out. It's like there was no tension there. So like, what was the point? There wasn't even a lot of creativity to it. Like the only interesting, I guess, thing you could even say about it was the cicada part. But even that, like, they didn't actually do anything really interesting with it. It's just like, oh, whoop-de-doo, there's this underground library that used to be someone's house that only opens during daylight hours because of the sun hitting the stone. The thing is, that doesn't even fully work because it's like it would be even less because the sun is in different positions depending on the time, unless in this world somehow the sun is always in the same position during daylight. But it's like, otherwise, it's like that would only work during an even smaller portion of the day. And if it has to hit the lens directly, then it actually only works during a very small portion of the day. Because otherwise it would be, the sun would be moving around and it wouldn't hit it directly straight on at all portions. So it's like, it's just, when you think about it, it's like the episode makes even less sense. And honestly, like, yeah, there was kind of the progress on the story with the entire thing about like, we have to try and like figure out what was going on. We have to try and figure out how to get Anne home. But it didn't actually progress anything with that. In a way, it kind of felt pointless. If it had actually made any progress with that, if there was actually anything to, to actually do there, like if they actually found out something, then it would have been a little better. But in this case, they didn't. There was no progress made, and it felt kind of pointless. It was just a random run-of-the-mill episode, and not even a good one. So yeah, this was definitely more like the earlier episodes of this, where it was just really just kind of throwing random shit at the wall and not really working with any of it. It wasn't that enjoyable. It wasn't that good. It was just kind of boring. Hopefully we'll get to more good stuff after this, though. Hopefully we'll get to more important stuff. Hopefully we'll get to more Sasha. But I can only hope at this point, because who knows where we're going to go next. But this was definitely one of the weaker points of the series. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Amphibia? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.